Hello and welcome to the Computer Game Show. My name's David Turner. I'm here with Matt Murray.
Shouldn't I be doing this bit?
No. What makes you say that?
But I kind of preferred it when Matt did it. It was good.
I mean, it was a good show last week. James Farley's here.
Yeah. Hi.
It was a good show last week. I wasn't here last week. I'm back this week. I mean, I'm going through some horrific shit at the moment, some personal stuff, and Matt sort of said to me, look, take the week off. I don't think you're going to be all right to podcast. And I went, yeah, all right, cheers, Matt. And I really appreciate that, Matt, like you looking out for me and being a mate. And if I'm totally honest, when you said don't be on the show, I thought, no, I want to do the show. I'm going to do the show. And when it actually come down to the time of recording, I was like, thank God I'm not doing a show. Matt was looking out for me. This is fantastic.
Yeah, definitely looking out for you.
And then I listened to the podcast and you open with, David said that he's busy, which he probably thinks that I'm the main one now. And I thought, you know what I'm going through. Why would you do that? Why would you say that?
Just trying to create content for the podcast.
He was trying to lighten the mood. Was the thing, I think.
That's definitely what, by kicking a bloke when he's down. Is that how you get your kicks off, Matt?
I didn't think you'd be listening to it.
That was horrific. Like, I was sitting there and I just thought, oh, maybe this will cheer me up. And I listened to it and I was like, oh no, they're putting the boot in. Matt's giving I'm the main one.
You had to expect that.
And another thing, Matt, like, I know it's a laugh and a joke and like the fans are like, they're all laughing along, you know, more at you than with you, but you've got to drop this I'm the main one thing, mate. It's embarrassing. It's like when you go to, like when you're out with a mate and you know what they do for a living and they lie in a pub and actually I'm the manager at work. And you go, fuck off, mate. No, you're not. You're not even close to being a manager. And then, like, all his mates are taking the piss out of him because, oh, do you hear that? He's calling himself the manager. Yeah, you are a manager, mate. That's what our listeners are doing to you. Yeah, you are the main one, Matt. Where secretly they're going, they fucking ain't. Like, he gets on every week. He's so predictable. What's that? Oh, it's a new hot topic, is it? Well, Matt loves it. He's all over that. What's that? New console coming out? Well, I don't know whether I'm going to buy it or not. He's going to buy it. They all know, Matt. They all know, and they're fucking winding you
so
up with this shit.
We all know that's what I am.
It's trying to say you're the main one. And not only that, right? Think about it realistically for now. Right? How many years have I been podcasting? How many years have I been working my way up to this position? Right? What gives you this arrogance to turn around and say, no, actually, I'm the main one? It was funny a couple of times because everyone was like, yeah, that's a good joke, Matt. But now people are going, does he really believe this shit? Like, is he really believing this stuff? Because someone's got to tell him at some point that this is a joke gone too far. And I think last week, when you stamped on me when I was at my lowest, that is where you have to stop.
Right, should we get on to the feedback?
I did listen to it last week. It was brilliant. Like, I mean, John's excellent anyway, but I listened back to it. It was a really good show. Well done, boys.
Honestly, that was mostly down to editing. It was a great show. John was amazing. The first half, we all be like, okay, just how does this work?
What do you mean? What happened?
I had to do about 4 intros, didn't I, James? It
was. Do you know? He also said "Welcome to Interface" for like one of them.
Did you really? Did you legitimately say that, or were you fucking around?
That's fucking around. Just creating a good atmosphere. But yeah, the first time I did the intro, I was like, "Oh, main one," and it's just silence.
Yeah. I was like, "Okay." He said it, and we didn't know how to respond to that because he went off on this whole spiel, which sounded like a fake version of you.
15 minutes, a 15-minute speech I'd written. Went on, man.
A fake version of me.
Yeah, he tried to emulate your style, and we didn't know what to do with it. So yeah,
I know what to do with it. Go on then, Matt. Let's hear it. Let's hear you imitating me. Go on.
All right, mate. Fucking up, but come on, God. Oh, bloody hell.
That's not bad, to be fair. Apart from the bloody hell bit, where did that come from? Who was that?
I don't know. I just felt like it.
How did you feel about it last week, James? You seemed a little bit more relaxed, less on edge.
Yeah, it was. Well, you weren't here, were you? So that always helps.
To be fair, it is half the time. It is like, you do get way too defensive around me. Like, you instantly think that I'm going to have a pop. And
you do.
All right, okay, fair enough, but you've got to chill out a little bit around me, mate. It's all right.
No, because you see, what was nice, right, is that I could have a conversation with John. Like, he'd listen to what I had to say. Maybe he doesn't agree, but he'd still listen to it and, wouldn't just start trying to get a rise out of me. Whereas with you, it's, it's different, isn't
John's a nice guy. He's got the filter. What he'll do is record a podcast with you and then text me later about everything that you said that was bollocks. But, face to face, he's like,
fine.
I've got
no problem with that. If he wants to do it, if he's going to do that, just do it stealthily behind my back.
I know, the thing is, right, right, to start off, he doesn't do that. I'm joking. But B, like, that's the one thing I never understand. And I might have mentioned this before, but on Big Brother, you always get the people that go, yeah, I'll tell you to your face. I'm not fake. I'm not two-faced. I'll tell you what I think of you. I just kind of think, no, that's just rude. Like,
yeah. I'd rather you being a twat and using it as an excuse.
If you don't like me, say that in the diary room. I'm totally fine with that. Don't just come and tell me you don't like me. That's weird. That is weird.
Just, stab me in the back without me knowing. That's what you want.
At least I don't have to see you. Yeah.
Nick,
okay.
Sada, Mel.
Darren. Darren. I believe you've been plotting a very dirty plan.
Dirty tricks.
Never showed me any names, Nick. Go on, right, there's about 3 people that know what we're talking about.
That was a Big Brother reference from 97. It's a deep cut.
Was that really 20 years ago?
Nah. It was. Let's not talk about it. Can move on. Because it's boring.
Go on. Who do you think's going in the house this year, James? Hey, come on, mate.
What?
Okay, feedback.
Excuse me. The following feedback is clearly all sarcastic. SMW, you did a good job as the main one. Actually, now reading it, that does sound sarcastic.
Yep.
You did a good job.
He's starting to realise, James.
Fox Poems. 10 minutes into new computer game pod and the host and skills of Matt Murray are all but confirmed he is in fact the main one. That also now sounds sarcastic. Ben Cameron just started a new episode of Computer Game Pod and the main one isn't on this week. Throws computer out a window. Also sarcastic.
No.
And then we had like about 40 tweets saying we need to sign John up. Did you hear the bit on last week's show where I awkwardly asked John live if he could join? And he's like, I'm here now. Let's move on.
I would love to have John on every week, but he does no like the shows. No, I'm joking.
And I didn't blame him.
The man's busy. He's got 2 kids. There's no way he's just going to pop on a podcast like once a week. He can't commit to that shit. As he says to me regularly, ain't nobody got time for that. Like, it's just not happening. But yeah, no, every time. He's one of these people that's got an open invitation. If he goes, Dave, I want to be on the show this week, he's on. Trust me.
I was going to say, we had loads of feedback around John, mostly saying he put good points across about the Xbox One X. I think 2 people have bought an Xbox One X because of what John said last week. And it was just a good time had by all. Adam Turner has sent a massive email about loot boxes.
Oh, do we? Probably don't, do we?
Well, Matt. I mean, you're always saying, you've got to read all the emails. I mean, you make me read all the emails, so I don't see why you shouldn't read this email. It's very long.
Well, I mean, Adam, we really appreciate your email, but I think in this case, we're not going to go through the whole thing. But he has some great
points. Matt, are there any points that he's made? What's the general tone of the email? What's he saying?
Basically, he found it frustrating that people believe that company needs to add microtransactions to bolster AAA budgets, which is definitely a comment that John mentioned on last week's show. It's not just about that. There's other reasons why they could have it. And the EA igniting frustration in the community is just a symptom of a much larger problem that's been going around for a while with EA trying to, rip off gamers and change things for that. But,
I will say this though, and I thought this at the time, when we were chatting about it with Timur, we were saying the same thing over and over again. Vote with your wallets, right? And when I was listening back to that show when I was editing it, I thought, no, why are we saying that? That doesn't work. It doesn't work because there's not enough people willing to do that. What does work is making sure the mainstream press pick it up. And that's exactly what happened with Star Wars. Once BBC started reporting on it and, what's the other one? There was one in America that reported on it. That's when they started to backtrack on things. That's what needs to happen. It needs to be a wider, discussion. It can't just be within us nerds because there's not enough of us.
But you see, that's why I don't want to say protest, but people complaining about stuff does work, but only if it is, like you said, if it's redirected towards
it doesn't work. It don't work. No one gives a fuck about Twitter, and you only see what you want to see on Twitter.
But then if so many people are doing this and you're getting stuff on like Reddit and stuff, then it does get noticed by mainstream media.
Reddit doesn't work either. It needs to be on mainstream media.
Yeah, but how does it get noticed on mainstream media?
But you need to contact mainstream media. You need to contact them and say, there's a story here and there's what's the story.
David, it doesn't work like that. You don't just contact the BBC and say,
just whack a tweet out there then. Just whack a tweet out. No, fucking ITV have been reporting it in the evening, wouldn't they? Fucking hell, James.
No, you idiot. The BBC started to be interested in it because you got stuff like on Reddit with it being like the most downvoted comment and stuff like that. That's why. It's not because nobody contacted like BBC and went, oh, we're a bit upset about loot crates. Can you do a story about it?
That's fair enough. That's fair enough. But it wasn't just because of a downvoted Reddit post.
It would have been
because it was reported everywhere because of that.
Because people were annoyed about it.
Okay. All right. Okay. I still maintain that Twitter is not the answer for this sort of thing.
Twitter's never the answer, but it's
it's true. No, I'm agreeing with you.
Just to end Adam's email, I understand that people have an issue with the gambling aspect and approach to these strategies, and I agree that it's pretty shitty. If you really hate these practices, entering your games, vote with your wallets, and always remember that these companies are only focused on making money, and that's okay. Because that's what companies need to do.
There was one thing that I wanted to bring up with this.
Oh, God, what?
That John brought up, which a lot of people do when they're talking about this, is about how, like, even in this email, he talks about these, like, large AAA budgets, now it's costing so much money to make these games and everything, so publishers have got to do this, because otherwise they can't pay the bills and everything. But then, did you see that thing, like, that Jim Sterling did, where he talks about how
Sterling.
He's
the new Juice.
He's the new Glix. He's the new Glixel.
He's the new Glixel. But he did have a good point about this. How like EA did like an investors meeting about this and said that removing the microtransactions from the game was going to have no impact on their sales expectations at all, which would kind of indicate that this is just a money making thing. If they still feel they can make a lot of money out of it, it's, that's the case.
Okay. Well, of course it's a money-making thing. Why else? Well, it's all about money-making, surely.
I know, but some of the arguments have been with this, that the reason for, like, loot crates and the reason for all these microtransactions is that developers can't afford to make games unless they put those in now, because budgets are so high. But then you've got EA coming out...
How can you make an educated decision on that?
You can't. But what I'm saying is that
you don't know the business model.
What I'm saying is EA then come out and say, well, it's okay because we're still making loads of money on this anyway.
They've said that, right? They said it's okay, we're still making loads of money of this anyway.
Yes, that is exactly pretty much what they said.
That is exactly pretty much what they said.
I'm paraphrasing it, but that is what they said. They said that they said to their investors that they were still expecting that they were going to reach the targets that they'd set.
James, I accept what you were saying last week about how your professional life is different from your on your podcast persona. But if you were reading a thesis on Chinese history, and there was a sentence that said, "That's exactly pretty much what they said."
That's exactly pretty much how history in China went down.
It's pretty much kind of around there.
I know Chinese history went down away because Jim Sterling said so.
Yeah. But no, he has been on it though with this, and he's made a lot of good points, with it.
Right, because I do want to talk about this at all, but we have done, so I'm going to read the email.
Oh, fuck!
Don't do that, because we've just covered all the main points. It's fine.
Okay.
Who sent that in?
That was Adam Turner. Thanks for the email, Adam. We do appreciate it.
Genuinely, thanks for emailing in. And I said this at the time because we had an email not too long ago where it was on Timur's episode where we sort of said, oh, no, it's too long, let's move on, right? Let me make this clear. It is, whoever emails in, it's always appreciated. If you're slagging us off, it's always appreciated. We don't care. Send your emails in. It's not a reflection of you or what you've written down. It's not your job to edit yourself when you write in, okay? Just don't get mad at us if we have to move on because, like, we're trying to jockey entertainment and, you know what I mean? We're trying to entertain a nation is what I'm trying to say. So if we're trying to move on...
Succeeding. Yeah, so take it send anything in. Just, we want it in us.
But never email in about loot boxes again. Although someone sent in a tweet, didn't they, saying David is a Brexiter and loot boxes are Brexit. and he doesn't want to talk about it. And I'm like, I don't even know how you got there. Like, I don't even know what journey you went on to come to that conclusion.
We received a way worse tweet than that.
Really?
I'll find it. It was a while ago, and it was like.
Well, paraphrase it. You don't have to say who says it. What did they say? What did they exactly pretty much say, Matt?
Go on, Matt. Tell us exactly what they said word for word, because you should memorise everything that everyone ever says, so that you can recall it at a moment's notice. You were trying to quote them, though.
EA said this. You can't do that.
I didn't say EA said this, and I quote, did I?
Oh, right. Okay, I was missing those 3 words. Also, don't raise your voice at me.
I can. Go on.
No, I know you can, but I'm saying don't do it.
But I'm saying I will if I feel like I have to.
All right, well, let's see how your podcasting career goes for the next few months. Go on.
I was trying to find that tweet. It basically said we were advocating like Gamergate or... Oh, here we go. Right. There's a whole section on the New Computer Game Pod where they unknowingly are arcing the same exact arguments going on about Antifa and Nazis, but in the context of Loot Crate protests.
What the fuck does that even mean? Who said that?
I won't say. It's just weird.
Okay.
Anyway, Ryan Hamann.
Who are you protecting?
Ryan.
Was it you, Matt? Did you tweet that?
Was it somebody that said that you were the main one, Matt? Is that what this is about?
Oh yeah, it always is sarcastic now, aren't they? I forgot about that. Ryan Hamann emailed in regarding the discussion about new Super Mario Brothers games. They do look really clean and true to the Mario brand, and that's part of the reason they feel so off as well. It just feels too perfect. Like this is a Mario that Nintendo licenses out to cereal box promotions. It comes across as sterile and lifeless. Compare that to Link
for me, it feels a little bit too chunky. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm saying there? Like it feels a little bit too. I don't know, like a blow up world. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I don't know. Mario always comes to
the proportions are exaggerated, or
I guess, yeah. It just everything seems a little bit like bloated, a little bit pumped up, like over pumped. I don't know.
It looks inflated. Definitely.
It's a weird thing to sort of nail down in words, but I've never really truly loved that art style. But sorry, go on, continue.
Compare that to Link from the Legend of Zelda games. In past iterations, he's been depicted as a young boy, a late 20s man, and the wolf, drawn in style of Egyptian hieroglyphics, large dies, ranking and bass characters, or Disney cartoons. A fantasy warrior with a long scarf flowing behind him as he rushes into battle, wearing a talking hat and a cross-dressing as a cheerleader. It's all over the place.
He's nailed pretty much every game there, but go on.
Yeah, he's nailed that. Boot Up Twilight Princess, and it tells you so much about how the game is different than previous Zelda games. Live the adventure, it beckons you. New Super Mario Bros. Instead puts out a call of live the marketing materials. Mario's back, and he's never been more corporately approved. Mario wasn't always cynical. Like this. He used to be drawn consistently off modern promotional materials, and Odyssey injects far more personality into the character than we've seen in decades. Remember, it was considered a radical departure that he wore short sleeves in Sunshine. Paper Mario feels incredibly fresh. I'm all for another 2D Mario game, but I want it to look as different to the new Super Mario Bros. Series as Woolly World did to Yoshi's Story or Rayman Origins did to the Rayman series.
I agree, but I would also say that I'd still want a new 3D world /land style game before we see another 2D
I never played that, so what's so good about that game?
It's amazing, Matt.
Yeah,
explain what it does.
It's the difference is, right, it's set out like, so the basic build of the game is the same as a normal Mario game. There's a world map where you go from level to level, and the level's got a beginning and an end. That's it, right? But it's more of an isometric view over a stage rather than behind Mario or to the side and moving left to right.
Yeah, okay.
But it feels that it's got all the exploration of the 3D world games, but with all of the sort of clinical structure of the 2D games, and it sort of puts them together, and it works really well. And the levels, the whole idea about those games is that each level has a very unique mechanic, and then it pushes it to the point where it's done. Then you move on to the next level, and you start the level, and you're like, okay, now this one has got these blocks that move when I jump. So now I've got to think about when I'm jumping and stuff. Things like that. And then it will start off with, as we've seen in other games before, it'll start off with a very simple way of explaining what the mechanic is for that level, and then it builds up and makes it harder and harder, and then you finish the level and move on. It's so good. It's so full of charm as well. A hell of a lot more charm than the 2D games had. Sorry, when I say the 2D games, I mean New Super Mario Bros., not necessarily the older ones.
Didn't you also feel that the design of that, like the visual design, was like quite a bit more sort of coherent than Odyssey is?
Like, of course, yeah. I mean, but Odyssey's trying to do something different. Like, they were able to make that a little bit more coherent because of the way it's structured, I think. They didn't have to have these huge stages filled with various different bits to do in them. It was very much, here's a short level, so they could nail down what they were going for in each level. Now, I'm not saying that Mario Odyssey feels like disjointed or whatever. In fact, the way they bring everything together is really, really intelligent. But I know what you're saying. It feels a little bit more consistent in 3D World. Which some people may argue is not as good. And I wouldn't argue against that. I'm just saying I see what you're saying, definitely.
It's also got a significantly better co-op as well. Like, playing with other people is the reason why it's brilliant. It's, you can play... I played through most of it with Rachel.
It's weird that the co-op in Odyssey is such a non-event, because, from what I gather, everyone loved the previous co-op games that they've done.
Yeah, but how do you do that in 3D World? How do you do that, in
I'm not
Odyssey?
sure, but...
You can't without split screen, and would split screen. I suppose split screen would work, but then how does it deal with, because it's already pushing the Switch to its fucking limit anyway, I'd have thought. How they whack that in. Yeah, I don't know. Right, okay, fine.
Ben Russell, this is in reference to the email that basically criticised James and couldn't quite work out how he got a PhD. Agreement with life as an academic. To follow up on last week's email about James's work life, I'm also in a similar situation with a PhD in physics. My work life as an academic involves developing nanotechnology for early stage cancer, and with that comes a need for high level communication with my colleagues. My normal life is nothing like my work life in comparison. I spend most of my time sat on my mate's couch, playing games and eating pizza. The balance between both is possible, and that's from Ben Russell.
It is, and it's it's good that if you can find that, I think.
Yeah, I mean, my work life is exactly the same as my podcast life. I just swap out the word Mario for cladding, and that's basically what I do for a living. That's how I act. No different.
Yeah. See him here, baby.
Okay, should we move on to the news? Because we've got some... News is a bit sparse this week, I'll be honest. Because
really?
There was the Black Friday stuff, but there's nothing interesting from that. It was really boring.
Yeah.
And so
there's nothing.
What was the whole Black Friday stuff?
Well, just people constantly posting deals of you can get £3 off this Switch game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly. It was everywhere. It wasn't just games. I got an email from Prezzo saying we're having a Black Friday sale. The restaurant, and I'm going.
But was it good, Dave? Was it any good?
I didn't go there. I'm not suddenly just going to decide to go and eat in a restaurant because they're doing a Black Friday sale. It's a fucking restaurant.
It failed then.
It did fail.
But Black Friday in the UK is rubbish anyway.
No, it wasn't this year. No way.
Yeah, there's loads of good stuff.
It's not. It's like in America, it's like they have did you see that tweet where somebody was like, in the UK, it's like, here's £30 off something that costs £300, whereas in America, it's like, here's $10 for a computer.
But you have to shoot a man to get it. That's the difference. I would rather save the extra £80 and not murder. That's the way I look at it.
And it's worth it for that video from PC World of that guy just walking in through the double doors.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Yeah, I thought there was some great deals about. It was really good.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the UK sort of tried to back away from the whole mad scrambles and fights in supermarkets, but there's tons of good online stuff. It's insane.
I also went into Game on Black Friday and had my first decent experience in game that I've had for God knows how long.
Black Friday miracle?
It was a Black Friday miracle. I mean, it was absolutely horrendous in there. It was absolutely rammed with parents getting consoles for their kids for Christmas and stuff, which is fair enough. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. But the staff all working their arse off. And I spoke to one guy in there, and he was like fully knowledgeable, pretty cool, asking me questions, and we were chatting about games and that. And and then he told me that all the staff behind the counter had worked 14-hour shifts the day before, and I just thought, mate, I wanted to put my arm around him and go, you got to get out of here. You're too good for this place for a start. Go on.
They're taking you for a ride.
I presume you also bought a warranty for a machine you didn't buy, and you're now a Game Elite member.
Oh yeah, totally, man.
Did you get disc insurance?
I got that disc insurance. That disc is not going to scratch. The weird thing was, he sold me disc insurance for a code, a download code. I don't know how he did it.
You got done. You got done.
Okay, so the news we have got is there's been some Destiny 2 XP stuff happening.
This is the biggest non-story I've ever read in my life. I cannot wait to hear what you're going to say about this, James.
I know. Well, do you want me to summarise what it's all about?
And then I want your feelings about it as well.
Okay. Okay, so anyway.
And then I'll tell you why you're wrong. Go on, because I know which way you're going to go with it. Go on.
So people thought that gaining XP for bright engrams has been manipulated. That was the main gist of it. So the bright engrams, these are the loot boxes that you get, aren't they? Like, you can either pay for them.
Right, so in Destiny, for those of you that don't play it, there are several different engrams you can get, most of which you can only get by picking up, like, just in levels and getting them at the end of doing missions and stuff like that. But they introduced this new thing called Bright Engram, which you can only get through XP. So once you fully max out your character, you get to level 20. The XP keeps still rolling in. And I'd say once every 2 or 3 days of playing, you'll get a new Bright Engram and you can cash it in, and it's all cosmetic stuff. So it's like shaders for your armor. It might be a new spaceship, stuff like that, right? But the thing is, you can also buy these bright engrams. I mean, why anyone would do it is beyond me, but that's not for me to judge. You can buy these engrams, right?
Yeah.
So, and then people on Reddit have worked out that the XP that you receive by doing stuff is manipulated. It's not set amount of XP for doing stuff. It decreases over time, right?
It was this guy called Energizer X, worked out that the scaling factor will increase at least to the point where you're only earning 4% of what you're supposed to get. It's so they manipulate how much you're going to get depending on what tasks that you're doing. So people that were doing public events, that's like a more fun way of getting XP, but you wouldn't get so much XP, even though you think you're getting XP, but you're not. Like, you're not really getting what you feel that you're supposed to be getting. But then, so the perception here is that the reason they've done this is so that then it will encourage people to spend more money for silver because they don't want to, because this is taking too long, to grind XP this way. But then Bungie came out and said, shall I quote what they got here?
Yeah, go for it.
A quote, Dave. Currently, XP will scale up when playing...
you got me there. I do like the facts. Go on.
Currently, XP will scale up when playing longer or fixed duration activities like Crucible, competitive multiplayer matches, and the Leviathan raid, and XP will scale down when playing activities that can be quickly, repeatedly chained, like grinding public events. We are not happy with the results. We've heard the same from the community, and they've now deactivated the system. So the whole point of this is that from my perspective with this is, I don't care for a start. I'm not really that bothered about these.
It's affecting people, man. Shouldn't you care? Shouldn't you worry about it? Can't you feel feelings for other people, man? Come on.
You're right, Dave.
Oh yeah, I'm just reflecting your arguments back against you, and I think it worked quite well, right, Matt?
I haven't said that, but yeah.
You got him, boy.
You fucking said that, you lying bastard.
Yeah, because it depends on what this is about, though. This isn't about money, though, is it? This isn't about what we were talking about before. This is about the fact that what Bungie are doing here is they're trying to figure out how that they can effectively monetize their loot crate system.
No,
and
it isn't.
They're experimenting with it.
I totally, but the answer they've given is totally fair. As someone that's played a lot of Destiny, it makes so much sense to limit the amount of XP you get, but to stop people just grinding out XP like that. It would completely destroy the system they've put in place if people could just repeatedly do public events. Now, those of you might think, well, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do. It is so piss easy to get into public events, especially just as they're finishing in Destiny 2. It's unreal. I totally understand why they would want to limit people just constantly doing
That's what I'm saying. They're trying to figure out how they can balance the system.
Yes,
but then
balance the system, yeah.
But then part of the reason they're going to want to do that is they are going to want people to buy loot crates.
I believe they would also want to do that if there was no microtransactions in it at all.
Yeah, sure, I totally agree with that. But, okay, would you say that they also do want to make money from loot crates, David?
Well, of course they want to make money from loot crates.
Exactly, so then part of this is to balance this so that they will be able to do that. Otherwise, there's no point in the system at all.
But this isn't a case of screwing the game up to try and get money out of people. What I'm saying, if anything, they're reacting in this way to make sure that people don't get the wrong impression. Yeah. I genuinely believe that was put there because when you release a game like this, right, especially with Destiny, one of the main things they're going to be looking for the moment it launches is how can our systems be exploited and how can we stop that? Because in a game like Destiny, once something's exploited like that, it fucks a lot of shit up, right? It completely destroys the economy they've put together and the game that they've put together, the processes you go through to do stuff. So they will be doing that. Like, I had no problem with their answer to that. And in fact, actually, the loot boxes, if you want to call them that in this game, are so not in your face that I don't think it's an issue at all.
Yeah, well, this is why, I mean, I never said in all we've said here that they're trying to, that they're trying to fleece anybody. What I said is that they're going to try and figure out how to balance this so that they can also make money as well, though. Because that's part of the point of these bright engrams existing, is to make money. Like, that's why they exist. So, but then what they're trying to do is they're obviously trying to balance it so that it's not going to upset people too much. I mean, that's why we've seen like what's happened with Battlefront, where EA totally screwed that up. Like, the balancing, they didn't get it right. That's what they're doing with this. Bungie are obviously trying to do the right thing here to try and get the balance so that they can make money from this, but so it's not really upsetting people. Yeah. I haven't got a problem with this.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. Like, and I like the fact that they've addressed it so quickly. I like that they've explained it, and their explanation seems totally credible to me. It's a complete non-story, in my opinion.
Yeah, because they haven't come out and done an EA and said, "Oh, we wanted to make it like this so that people would feel more of a sense of achievement and all that rubbish." This is, they've been pretty upfront about this, about what they're doing. So I don't have a problem with it either.
All right, okay, fine. We'll calm now, right? How are you feeling, Matt? Are you alright over there?
I'm livid. The tension? I've started a petition. It's disgusting that they would do this to the fans who have made them what they are. And
you don't speak for the fans. You haven't played Destiny 2 in about fucking 2 months.
Yeah, Matt, can I ask you a question?
Yep.
When did you last play Stardew Valley?
I've been playing my Odyssey and other games, but I'm not sure if you understand. It's quite a busy time for games, James. Yeah. But I definitely intend to go back to it because it's a fantastic game.
Okay, cool. Next.
Okay, that's it. That's the news that we got.
Wasn't there some other news, like breaking tonight, something happened?
Not as far as I know.
Oh, newsman on the scene. I'm sure I saw something on Twitter and I thought we should talk about that. James has said there's no news, but something's happened. I mean,
I also checked. So I thought, well, there can't be one news story all week, and that was it. There was nothing else.
Fine. Yeah. It's time to move on then, isn't it? It's time to get to what you've been playing. And I have been chomping at the bit to talk about some certain games. So should I kick us off?
Yeah, go for it.
First of all, last time we spoke about the Call of Duty World War II campaign. Mm-hmm. And I said I didn't really enjoy it. I thought it was alright. I mean, it was good to look at, but that was about it. I then went and played the multiplayer, and my word, that is the best Call of Duty multiplayer I have played for God knows how long. Modern Warfare 2, maybe? It's really good. Like, really good. There's the new game mode they've put into it, War, is, a complete rip-off of so many other different games. But it works so well and it's so much fun to play. And yeah, you die a lot, but once you start getting the handle of what you're supposed to be doing, then it's just fantastic.
What's it good for?
What's it good for?
Yeah, no, what's so good about it?
Man, that's terrible. Don't do that. That's as bad as that tweet you did earlier in the week, that Trump one.
Oh, that was hilarious because Dave hadn't seen the tweet and he was like, what does that even mean? Brilliant.
But that's it. Not everyone, I don't know. Matt tweets in his own mind and expects everyone to know what the fuck he's talking about.
Well, it did big numbers. Anyway, okay. World War II.
Right, I'm not going to dish you for your Twitter stuff. You're the one for that. I'm not getting involved anymore. Yeah, you could be the main one for that. Who's the main one for Twitch, though? That's the question. That is...
Matt. It's obviously Matt now. He's smashed all my records. Now, isn't it? And I've retired now anyway, so it's
Matt. You know, talking about Matt's ego and stuff, did you notice what happened, James, on about his Twitch stream?
No.
Like, you know, you do your stream and I edit it and put it on YouTube, right? Matt was like, when everyone was like, oh, is Dave going to do an edit of this? Dave going to do an edit of this? And Matt was like, I'm just going to put the full length stream up there. I'm sure everyone, you couldn't possibly edit any of that out. Like, it's just the fucking ego on the man.
I basically said, there's no way he's giving any highlights and Dave's not going to waste any more time than he is. So
that's not what you said. You sort of just went, I'm thinking about putting my whole stream up on YouTube. And as you were saying that, my phone went off.
Highlights.
My phone went off with an email. Export to YouTube has been successful. Oh, right, Matt's already done it, has he? Right, that's fine.
Were you going to waste more evenings of your life just editing highlights on Twitch streams?
It wouldn't be too hard. It'd just be whenever you see you die, just scroll back 10 seconds and edit from there. It's a piece of piss.
Yeah, that's why I uploaded the entire thing. It's quicker that way.
So anyway, Call of Duty World War II. The war mode is, it feels, Matt, it's like Rush. But instead of, with Rush in Battlefield, you've got 2 points to attack. If you manage to pull it off, then it pushes back further and you go through a map. It's exactly the same, but instead of the same objective every time, it changes things up. So sometimes there'll be 2 points of contact where you've got to set a bomb. There'll be ones where you've got to stay next to a tank, like the payload in Overwatch.
Oh yeah,
You'll have that, and then once you get to a certain area, your tank will break down, and there's 2 places where you have to nick petrol and then get back to the tank to fill it up to push it forward. There's just loads of these. There's one set on Normandy Beach, and if you're on the German side, your gunners in the walls, like shooting everything down. If you're on the American side, you've got to get and breach the bunkers, right? But obviously, it chucks a load of like computer control characters running up the beach as well. So if you're on the German side, you've got that thing of right, which one's real and which one's AI. It's really, really good fun. The shooting feels fantastic. It is a bit, if I spot you first, I win, because you've got literally no health, you die really easily in this game. It's lightning quick. It was just really, really good fun. And I mean, it's not something I'm going to continue to play much, well, not anymore at all, really, because I've traded it in. But the time I spent with it, I had so much fun that I kind of think, yeah, I can't remember the last time I played Call of Duty multiplayer and had that much fun. I really enjoyed it. And I must have played it for about 10 to 15 hours after. Like, I was not expecting to do it. I was expecting to try it one night, trade it in the next day, but I didn't. I spent about maybe 2 weeks playing it solidly, and then sort of said, okay, I've had my fill, I want to try Wolfenstein now, so traded it in. But Matt, James, you played it a bit, right?
I have, yeah. I mean, I've enjoyed it. I mean, the time when I wanted to play it was when all the servers were down and weren't working it just before I did the review stuff. But I do want to go back and try and play some more of it though, because you've
absolutely got to try War, because it's a great game mode and the game's really fun to play. Mm-hmm. So I would give it a chance if you're thinking about what games you're going to ask Mummy and Daddy for Christmas, because although the campaign was a bit of a letdown, I think the multiplayer far exceeded.
The campaign's fine, David. It's not. It's up and down. But didn't like the last 2/3 were good. I enjoyed it.
I'd say the last third was alright, and that's about as good as it got. But whatever, it's fine. The other game that I've put absolutely hours into is Rocket League on the Switch, and you were talking about it last week. And it's easy to, I didn't know it would look this bad, right? I mean, we've seen what Mario looks like on this, and I know it's not, you can't really compare, because this one's essentially scaling down a game so it can work cross-platform and all that sort of stuff. It's scaling down to, what is it, a 720p screen on the Switch?
Yeah.
And it looks like shit. But, like John was saying, what do you make of it? And I said, look, it looks like crap, but once you've played it for a little while, you completely forget that it looks that bad. And within a game or two, you appreciate far more the fact that you're sitting on the sofa playing Rocket League when you wouldn't be playing Rocket League in that situation. and fucking loving it. I mean, the game is so good, and it continues to be good. And I said in the week on Twitter, I can't see this ever getting old. I mean, God knows how many hours I've put into it, and I am still having a whale of a time playing that game. You know, I still get frustrated with teammates every now and then, but who cares? Really, like, I'm really, really enjoying it.
It's got such a high skill ceiling that it just feels like there's always opportunities to improve, to get better, and it's
the matchmaking is
the simple
so
mechanic
clever.
is just still fun as fuck. You know, football and cars, it's just amazingly fun. It might look like absolute arse on the Switch. And I haven't seen, this game was the first game in ages that actually reminded me of when I had my DS and playing like games like X versus Sever, which is like an FPS for the DS, and it looked like arse. And this looks like arse, but it's still got the core gameplay, and it's still really, really fun.
It looks alright in docks. I mean, it doesn't look brilliant, but it doesn't look terrible.
Definitely looks
Yeah, but
docks,
if I'm playing on the TV, I'm playing in 4K on the PlayStation.
Yeah, that
I'm
makes
not
sense.
just
You've
playing
only
it.
just seen like Rocket League in 4K, so you've gone straight from that straight to this.
Yeah,
It's
and
quite the jump.
it bothered me for about 30 seconds. It bothered me for about 30 seconds. It booted up and I went, oh, this doesn't look great. And then I was like, who cares? It's Rocket League. And it feels like Rocket League. It plays like Rocket League. I thought the triggers were going to be a problem because they're buttons instead of analog triggers. Is it that the right words to say?
The digital instead of analog, yeah.
Yeah, and that bothered me for about 30 seconds. Once I was in, I was in.
I wonder
And,
what flying's like with these triggers versus analog. I wonder if you need more control flying with those.
No, you don't fly with the triggers.
Oh, okay. Yes,
You fly with a boost. And I mean, I've genuinely beaten 2 teams while having a shit. I mean, that is just the best.
Yeah, but I do that normally. Even on PS4.
Your little bucket next to your sofa.
There's no
We've all
bucket,
seen
mate.
that.
There's no bucket.
It was just off the screen when we were streaming our last live show. There's a little bucket in the corner.
Little poo-poo. It's great fun.
Yeah, mate, honestly, if you're into Rocket League, buy it. If you're into Rocket League, you've got to switch. It's essential, straight up.
I'll tell you one thing though.
Go on.
I can't believe they didn't implement video replay. No, I can't believe they didn't. Like
they
video
need to sort
recording.
That out. Yeah, they need to sort that out.
I think you said
Absolutely.
that 2 or 3 episodes ago. You said if a game comes out in the next month or so and it hasn't got it, then they're totally fucked up. And I said, well, it's about developers getting it built in. But I was this game more than any other. I'm really surprised because I think Skyrim's got it, but this hasn't.
No, it hasn't. No, it has. Yeah,
Skyrim on Switch has, but this hasn't. And this game is desperate for that sort of stuff. It's
I wonder
shame,
what
really.
the deal is there because I can't imagine that was it Psyonix? I'm pretty sure they want that in the game. I'm pretty confident they'll want that in the game.
For this game more than anything else, it's essential to get like little clips of great goals. But maybe also because it looks so shit, maybe they're like, it's not essential. Yeah,
but you can still share screenshots, and it looks a lot worse in screenshots than it does in. Because do you remember, like, you take screenshots in Zelda and it looks like shit.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you see it moving, you're like, whoa, this is so much better than I thought it was going to look.
Yeah, this is a bit annoying when you're standing on your goal line, you can't see what's happening at the other end of the pitch.
You're over-egging it a bit.
You can see those, like, coloured shapes moving about, like Thomas was alone. It's like, but
it's not that bad.
It isn't that bad.
Yeah. But it's still fun.
And what's all this about the frame dropping?
I don't know. It was a lot better after I reset my Switch, but it's not locked to 60. It doesn't feel like it anyway.
I've not dropped any frame other than just standard lag.
Have you had slowdown then?
No.
Yeah, okay. I mean, it was a lot better after I restarted my Switch, but it was crawling to like 10 frames a second, so clear something was up.
The only thing that I can think is causing that is that it's calculating the AI's movement, and whereas
I haven't played online.
You're receiving data when you're playing online, whereas it's got to calculate AI movement for,
I should try
maybe that's causing the problem.
Just to clarify, you and I can play online together, right? On Switch?
What?
Well, we can party up, could be on Switch and play together.
Can we not?
You can.
I'm pretty sure you can.
Okay, that was actually a question, but okay, we can. Okay, great.
Yeah, I'm done.
We said that last week as well, Matt. You can.
Yeah, I did, so I've had a mind fart,
Yeah, no, it's I mean, Rocket League's one of the best games ever made, and to have it in handheld like that is just absolutely incredible. I absolutely love it. I'll save, actually, the next 2 games, 2 other people have been playing. So let's go with What Remains of Edith Finch, because James and I have both played that this week because it was on sale on Xbox One. What was it? £10, James?
Yeah, it was just around £10 if you were like with a gold membership. Yeah,
and basically, we've been talking about the Game of the Year show, and it looks like Sean is going to be able to make it. And he was like, look, if there's one game that I asked you to play for the Game of the Year show, it's Edith Finch. And I mean, I was looking at playing this game anyway, because it sounds right up my street. And I played through in a day? Yeah, in an evening. I played the whole game. I had to stop halfway through, but I did play it through in an evening. And I said, I'm really interested to hear what you think of it, James. So
yeah,
we're not going to be as usual. It's the sort of game, it's best to know nothing about it going in. But it's been out for so long now that I think we're past that point where people are going to actively avoid everything about it. So what I will say, right, basically, it's a game where you are discovering how various family members passed away. Like, that's the idea, that's the story you're going through. And you do that with flashbacks and from reading material about them and stuff like that. And you experience what each family member went through. It's like a cursed family. The whole idea is that, back in the day, there was this, it could have been an urban legend, but it's pretty much true, because there's all, it's not a secret. Where there was a cursed family in a cursed house, and they thought that it was because where the house was, it was cursed. So he moved the house by boat.
Yeah.
And then that sunk. So they built a new house, but the curse continued, and various members of this family died in mysterious ways, and you discover how they all died. And yeah, what did you make of it, James?
I did overall really, really enjoy it. It was certainly, it was one of the, because it's a walking simulator style game, and it's one of the best that I think I've ever played in terms of, it's so engaging and so interesting as well. And one of the things, as I said to you earlier, that I really liked about it is the way that they sort of show these stories. It could so easily be really kind of pretentious, I thought, and I think they totally avoided that. And I really, really loved it. I thought it was very interesting.
Would you say it's better than Gone Home then?
That's quite tough, actually. Because what you said earlier about we were talking about it, and you said that you felt that it wasn't quite so coherent. Yeah.
My take on it is this: I think, in terms of individual moments, I think this wiped us a floor with Gone Home. I really do. I think the ideas that it has, it's so clever. It does so many different clever things with gameplay, with visuals. It's really impressive with what it asks the player to do and how it emotionally affects you, because it does. There were a few moments that really got to me. However, I feel that it kind of lacked the final overall theme, the overall punch. That it didn't feel as complete as Gone Home did. Gone Home, I come away from that thinking about the various stories and the various bits and pieces of that game. It had an overall thing to it. Whereas on this one, I was chatting to Sean about it afterwards, and I was saying, by the end of it, I was like, wow, that bit was incredible. That bit was incredible. But I didn't have that final sort of satisfaction at the end that I had with Gone Home.
Yeah, you see, initially I felt that, but then when I started thinking about it, about the fact that you're playing this character, and you see, she's basically exploring, these different sort of discrete stories as it's going on. And so you're seeing how these people, have come to an end. And then, I began to think about this, and it's kind of like, I began to feel more satisfied, because I felt, we can't talk about this because it's going to ruin the story.
What do you mean?
Well, because...
Well, you could dance around it, come on.
Well, no, because I felt that through playing through that, we were seeing that character's story, if you see what I mean.
Oh, totally. Yeah. What I'm saying is that...
That's why I still felt satisfied by the end. But by that point, because I still felt that we were seeing that. But I do take what you mean, though, about, especially the final parts of it. It doesn't feel quite as complete as perhaps it could do with that.
No, it's like, I suppose what it is that feeling of, why have we seen all this stuff?
Mm-hmm.
that's what I feel it misses. And it doesn't need to sort of answer everything, because that's not what Gone Home does. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's left to interpretation and a lot of mystery involved with the story. And so it's definitely the subplots. Whereas this, it kind of like, here's a bunch of horrific stories told in a really unique and interesting way. That's it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but isn't that part of the point, though, of what maybe they're trying to say? I don't know, because I didn't write it, but this idea that there is an inherent pointlessness to the way that these lives have ended, in a sense.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, you could argue that, but that would be you making excuses for it, I think. Like, I don't think that the idea was like, hey, yeah, it is all pointless, isn't it? So, bye. I don't think they would. Well, what's the point in going for that? There is no point. That's the point. No, I don't buy that, is what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. I think that it just lacked that final punch. It needed that final punch for it to be. I don't know. I would recommend it. Like, I would say it's quite a special game, but I just feel that it lacked an overall theme, and I don't know. It didn't need a twist. It didn't need a reveal. I'm not saying that at all in the slightest. Would
you have preferred it if, like, there was more of a conclusion to, like, the main character's story?
Possibly. There was some weird stuff. There was some stuff left open to interpretation that I felt didn't need to be towards the end. And I don't know. There was just, after going through something like that and being so emotionally affected, it reminded me a bit. Now, I think it's a better game than Firewatch, right? But it did remind me a little bit of that. Like, when you get to the end of the Firewatch, you go, right, okay, now what's next? Oh no, that's the end. Whereas on this, it was about the same thing.
I've still felt the ending to this was a lot more complete, really. Particularly like the final, like credit scenes and everything. I thought it was a lot more complete than Firewatch. Firewatch really was like, what was that for? Like, all of that. Whereas this, I thought this was a lot stronger.
No, I'm not
is it worth a tenner?
Part.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it worth me buying or not?
Yeah, I'd say.
I mean, I would recommend you play it. Absolutely. I think you'd definitely be affected by it. I don't, no doubt. But I mean, £10, and it is, 2 to 3 hours. It's not a long game at all.
No, but some of the stuff it does, though, like, especially like it did make me feel like more emotional than any other game probably has this year. Which for me is, I mean, it's worth the.
I mean, you're basically a human robot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it made me feel feelings, David.
You're going to be in a cage game.
Yeah, I'm tempted.
Exactly. I mean, maybe I liked it more because of the fact that I'd been playing Beyond Two Souls, and then suddenly I'm playing something which is really interesting, and Beyond Two Souls isn't. So, maybe it's that.
Matt, are you interested then?
I'm interested, but I've got a billion other games to play, and I bought, Wolfenstein we're going to talk about in a minute. I bought all the episodes of Life is Strange I need to get through before Game of the Year. So this one might have to drop off my... And it's also, if it's 2 to 3 hours, if I've got 2 to 3 hours a night before Game of the Year, then I'll buy it.
That's a good point, James, right? If Matt goes, look, Game of the Year show is coming up, should I play Edith Finch or... what do you call it?
Oh, it's not a choice. I'm definitely playing Life is Strange.
Breath of the Wild. No, Breath of the Wild. What the fuck am I talking about?
Breath of the Wild sounds rubbish.
Life is Strange.
If he said Life is Strange or Edith Finch, which one would you tell him to play? Fucking hell, Dave.
I tell him to play Life is Strange, obviously, because that is...
Why? It wasn't even a choice. I was always going to play Life is Strange over this.
Okay.
No.
I just find that strange because James seems way positive on this, and you were on.
I still like it. I still think it's really good, but I still think that Life is Strange though is better. I think.
Yeah, I mean it's a pointless exercise because they're completely different games. But I'm just interested to sort of gauge where you sit with it. Okay, cool. So you mentioned that you've been playing Beyond Two Souls. So should we go there?
Yeah, I'm finished with that now. It's done. So
it's not very good, is it?
Say again?
It's not very good, is it?
No, it's terrible. It's a really terrible game. I mean, you were right. It's the worst adventure game I've ever played. And
really?
Yeah, easily. Like, easily it's the worst adventure game I've ever played. Because, personally, I feel it fails to do everything. It's just... Okay, it looks quite nice in places, and obviously it controls... Well, no, it doesn't control fine. That's awful. It's a terrible game. It's a really, really terrible game. I mean, I'm sure that some people did enjoy playing this, but I didn't. And, I mean, because Capone sent me an article from Kotaku about someone who felt like they'd written how they felt like this real connection with the game and everything. And the thing is, I'm not going to dispute that, but that experience wasn't mine, and that's fine. But I'm sure that Cage games do connect with some people, but they just don't connect with me, because I just cannot get past the terrible logical problems, the terrible dialogue, the heavy-handed symbolism, and like especially in that homeless section is awful. Like that was really terrible.
Didn't you?
That was so out of the blue.
Aren't you talking about playing Detroit though? Why would you do that?
I'm not going to play it. I don't know if I'll play it.
Of course, you're going to play. You're not going to play Detroit. Of course, you are.
I'm not going to stream it. I mean, this game has made me feel like I never want to stream again, because it was such hard work. I mean, the thing is with Heavy Rain. No, it was really hard work, because the thing is like Heavy Rain was, although it had a lot of problems, was still interesting. There was some interesting ideas there. You know, it was funny. It was really funny in places. I mean, often unintentionally, but it was still funny. But there was so little to work with Beyond Two Souls, because it was just so bland and boring. And then also, I mean, what didn't help, especially the last, I mean, you'll see it. I mean, you haven't seen any of it, have you, David? Like the
Not yet, no.
You'll see I got progressively more angry with the game towards the end, because there's parts of it. Can I spoil stuff now? I mean, what can I say?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. You could, yeah, why not?
I mean, because at one point in my game, like, Jodie dies. Like, she appears to be dead. There's, like, the guy, you know, like, Captain Dreamboat, Ryan that she's with. He does, like, chest compressions and everything, and she's sitting there, like, frozen and looks dead. And then, so, you're thinking, okay, that's supposed to be, like, an emotionally affecting scene where, she sacrificed herself, etc., so the mission could be completed. Then in the next mission, she's fine. She was just walking around like nothing's happened. And you're just thinking, what? I just felt cheated by that, because I thought I killed her. And to be honest, I wasn't that bothered about that, because just terrible character. But
I mean, you're not exactly the most observant person, though, so is there not a chance that you've missed
No. You'll see. She was dead. Like, they were really heavily hinting she was dead as well.
Because,
it was insane.
you know the desert scene, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that you totally, like, it happened to you, but you didn't mention it on the stream, was that obviously one of the main characters in that desert area dies.
Yeah,
right?
It's Paul. Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, at the end, he's waving
I know, you see
goodbye.
him at the end, I know.
Like, what? But you didn't bat an eyelid.
I know, because it was like crappy Star Wars copy, wasn't it? That's why.
What's Star Wars? What? I mean, I don't get the reference, obviously.
Well, that's what they do in Star Wars. Like, at the end of Star Wars, you see characters that have died. Like,
what?
like, just,
Why?
Like, as ghosts. It's like the thing, because it's to show that they've, like, crossed over. This is like the thing.
That's it, though. Like, you don't see them as ghosts. They're just literally there. Like, it's not like, when you see ghosts in things, they're usually a bit see-through or whatever.
They were trying to show that they've moved to the Netherverse or whatever it was called.
It was awful. It was just so bad. I mean, that game's crap. I didn't mind the ending, though. I genuinely didn't.
David. Also, the final reveal was, like I said on the stream, it was so much less interesting than I was hoping it was going to be. Like the whole, what Aiden is.
Yeah, what Aiden is.
Etc. I mean, that was rubbish. I want to know why, also, he was grown up and naked in that scene. That made no sense at all to me, but yeah, it's just, I mean, the main problem I had with the game is it just was not interesting. It was so boring and so poorly paced as well, and just awful.
But the fact is, you did get to the end of a scene, unlike Heavy Rain, so that sounds like a result.
That helps.
Yeah,
that helps.
Yeah. I don't know, it's just terrible. I never want to play that game ever again. I was so... I tweeted, like, the next day, I was so pleased when I woke up and thought I never have to play that game ever again, because it was just awful. I mean, there was something like
get
Fahrenheit.
Over yourself.
No, it's terrible.
I'm so glad I never have to play that game ever again, man.
David, it was awful. It's just
I know
such
it was,
a bad
but
game.
come on, mate.
No, seriously, if you stream, you should try. You should try streaming it. It's like, sitting there trying to make something out of it, and there's nothing. You've got so little to work with. It's awful.
Right.
Hated
Okay.
it.
Right. That's probably enough.
It was funny, James, when you couldn't open the wine bottle. But wasn't there something else in that scene where you I think he's like, "Do you want to open it?" And then you're like,
no.
"Oh, no, thank you." And then you were there struggling, like, "Can't open a wine bottle." This is
And then he was
embarrassing.
watching me, just kept on doing
intently
it for about a
staring at
minute.
you, yeah.
It's so,
that whole bit of the game where you're about to go on like a date or whatever. I genuinely thought actually you didn't mind that bit.
No, that bit was fine. It was very funny, and it was fine. And especially David Cage's idea of sexy, like clothing, was quite funny. I like that.
I'm more interested in your idea of sexy. Go on, what should he have gone with?
Well, it certainly isn't jeans and a t-shirt.
What should it be then?
Nothing wrong with that, James.
I don't know.
Come on, James.
I don't know, like a dress or something, something nice.
Oh yeah, traditional James.
Yeah.
But
no,
it was
women's
gown.
traditional.
James thinks when you go for a date, a prom, basically dress like going to the prom. That's what I expected. Tiara.
Just like Kasumi from Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
Either way, it was that was one of the high points of the game. That was quite good, and then it was all downhill from there. It was because that part of the game also, at least it was trying to say something interesting as well, like the whole thing about Aiden being like sort of jealous about what was going on and whether you were going to interfere and all that. That was quite interesting, like how that played out. And then they just throw the rest of that away, and it's just terrible.
Why
sounds
can
like he likes
Aiden
it.
have like help with the tidying up of the house? Because she was just kicking DVDs under the TV bench and like throwing
She was a
socks in the
total
bin.
slob as well. I mean, it was like the way she was living, not good.
Yeah,
It was
such a
just
slob.
terrible.
Not good. Right, okay, enough
Not
of that.
sexy.
And the only other thing I played is the only other thing I played is Mario Odyssey, which I just finished. Yeah, I just
Computer game.
I did the 500 Moons thing, and then I beat what comes after that, and really loved it. And
Have you know? I've been getting several private messages from Capone Adam about that last thing, and he said it's destroyed his love for the game.
why?
I don't know.
Was it
I
too hard?
thought it was so wonderfully good.
Yeah,
that
I mean, what I liked about it is that, I mean, actually, what can I say about this? How much can I say?
Nothing.
I don't know
Pass
what
around
you're going to
it.
say, so I can't
Well,
answer
I
that
was
question.
going to say, like each individual section, I thought wasn't really hard.
No,
it's just
it's the combination of everything.
Yeah, it's just that you have to have a good run, really, and like
Yeah.
where everything kind of goes right, and it's just when it does, it all clicks and it's fantastic.
If you get the whole thing right, how long does the run last from start to finish?
it's
About
quite long.
20 minutes?
Oh wow!
No, well, 15, I'd say.
50
But
minutes
yeah, it's-
without dying, basically.
Yes, yeah.
And if you die again,
But
you have to
it's-
just
but
start
it's-
again.
But
Yeah.
no, but it's totally doable. Like, it really is doable. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, you just have to have the right mindset and everything, and it's fine. And then when you do it, it's such a nice way to finish it off as well. I mean,
And
it's,
I know it's a shitty thing to say because so many people say this about so many games. Like, every time I died, I thought, yep, I totally fucked that.
Yeah.
You know, it was never a moment where I was thinking, this game is screwing me. It was the only time I felt like, come on. I got to the 2D bit, James,
yeah.
and died
no.
there. And it sent me right back to the beginning. And I was like, oh my God, it was heartbreaking.
Because after that, it's quite a bit easier, I think. Like
Because once I got past that bit, I did it first time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I didn't die after that. But,
Yeah, same
my favourite bit of that whole area is the waves. That was so perfectly done. And when you worked out the trick to get over the waves, something that seemed absolutely, totally 100% impossible when I first approached that and first tried it. I was like, I'm never going to be able to do that. All of a sudden you work out the trick and you're like, yeah, no, that's brilliant.
Do you know which bit I had the most trouble with?
Go
Is
on.
the bit with the fire, like quite close to the beginning with the holes. That
Oh, really?
That took me ages to get that down. I couldn't. I kept on messing that up all
That
the
only
time.
screwed me up when I was trying to rush it. Like, there'd be moments where I'd be like, right, okay, let's get past this bit, and then I'd fuck it up and go, oh, what am I doing? There's also the bit with the sort of activated circle things that expand out.
Yeah.
And
That's quite difficult.
Such an idiot when I thought, actually, I don't have to hit them. Why am I doing that? I'm making it 20 times harder for myself. It's really, really, really clever. And it's followed by one of my favourite ending sequences in a game. And it's subtle. It's not like some big, way, look at this now. You know, it's just very, very muted, quiet, and expresses a message directly to the player through characters, and it works perfectly. Like, it genuinely choked me up a bit at the end. I thought it was so well done.
Are you going to? I mean, because I'm fully planning to get everything in this, like, over time.
I am now. Yeah, I mean, I'm now up to just under 600. I think I'm on 595.
Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, because I think, isn't there like, I heard there's like 999 of them.
No, there's unlimited. I think you
really.
You can buy them.
999.
Yeah,
no,
I
but
think
those ones that you buy, they run out eventually. Apparently.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, then you buy in shops. At one point, you can't buy
the ones from the shops. Yeah, you can't buy any more.
Oh right, okay. Yeah, no, I mean, I haven't bought any of those packs of 10 yet. So I've literally just been doing the. I've not even been, because you're quite formulaic with it, aren't you? You go from area to area and 100% it. I haven't been doing that. I've been skipping around all over the place because
I can't do that. I have to just stick with somewhere until I beat it and then move on.
I'm not into that. I'm quite happy moving about and just playing around and finding moves. It's really funny as well because you get to the Metro Kingdom or whatever, and you're like, oh god, I can't really work out anything else to do. And then within like 5 minutes, I got 10 moons. Yeah. The really funny one was that I noticed a queue outside a building, and this will make you laugh because you've probably done this like in your first playthrough before even beating the game. But I saw a queue outside a building. I was like, what's that all about? And I walked in, and it was the first level of Mario in the theatre screen. You've not seen it?
No, where's that?
Amazing.
Okay.
There's a building with people queuing outside a door, and you walk in, and it's a cinema, and on the screen is the first level of Mario, and you obviously go into the pipe and play it.
Oh man! Okay,
sorry if that's a spoiler, but like I just assumed, because I'd heard rumours that it was in the game, but I thought I'd heard it was in the area after you complete the game, but it's not. It's in New Donk City, which, by the way, I have seen people on various forums and stuff saying that they hated the aesthetic and everything about that area. It's easily the best in the game, in my opinion, and it's the only one that Harry wants to play. Like when he sits down to play, he goes straight to New Donk City.
I get that. Yeah, Rachel absolutely loves it as well, and that's where she always goes straight away. Is to there. I don't know why. It's I like it. I think it's good, but I don't know. I still can't get over that Sonic Adventure thing.
That's just you're weird with that. You were burnt by that game, I think. Matt, are you still playing it?
Yeah, I'm up to like 380 or so. So I basically do a moon or two each way to work, and then a couple here and there, like on Saturday or Sunday mornings. Yeah.
How many moons have you got now?
What was that?
How many moons have you got now?
About 380.
How can you only do 1 or 2 moons? Like, honestly, I can.
Well, no, because I mean, like, on my train to and from work, and then if I get time, like Saturday, Sunday morning. I've been playing a lot of console games, so haven't played much of that, but I'm obviously getting it done because it's Mario.
It's a fantastic game.
Before we move on, I have played one other game as well, just briefly. Which I did play the Animal Crossing game.
I played a bit of that. I said to Matt in the week, I texted him and said, "Oh, do you know what? I'm going to force myself to like this to really piss James off." But it turns out I haven't got it in me. I have not got it in me. Go on, James. What do you make?
I haven't got it in me to start the game. I downloaded it and I just saw loads of people tweeting about this and I was like, I haven't got time for another one of these in my life.
I'll say this: it is fucking like Animal Crossing, though. Like, it's got a lot more Animal Crossing stuff in it than I thought it would have. Like, you do still go around collecting things and bugs and fishing and all that sort of shit. If anything, it reminded me too much of A New Leaf, and I thought, no, I'm not in for this. I can't do this. So, I stopped playing.
I mean, I didn't like it mostly because to me, it doesn't feel like an Animal Crossing game. Like, it does, but only on a very superficial level.
Why? Is there a quest log, James?
There is, yes, which is ridiculous. And it's just, you see, one of the things which I really like about Animal Crossing has always been the fact that you start it up and then you just wander around and then just do whatever sort of takes your attention, like whatever you feel like. You just sort of, and also the map is like big enough that you can just have a look and see what you can find. Whereas in this, they've split all the maps up into like really tiny sections, so there's no sense of exploration like whatsoever. You also can't
fuck
really
off, James. There's sense of exploration in fucking Animal Crossing.
No, there is, because there's things that happen all the time. You haven't played it enough, David. Like, there really is.
I put about 15 to 20 hours in
That's
it.
not enough time.
Yeah, that's barely. You've barely got like any of the wallpaper collections, Dave. Sort out.
James, you're a fucking nightmare. That's barely enough time. That's barely enough time.
You wouldn't know, Dave. You wouldn't know.
Either way, but then also all they've done is they've taken one of the least interesting aspects of the game and just made it about that, which is the just picking stuff up and giving it to somebody else. And that's basically what the gameplay is. It's Happy Street. It's exactly the same as Happy Street.
No, it's not. There's more to it than Happy Street.
There's not more to it than Happy Street. It's pretty much exactly the same. There's this. It's just. I mean, obviously, some of the mechanics, like the fishing and stuff, is slightly more like complex than it is in that. Like in that was just like you go there and press a button. But this is pretty much the same. You go there and you just tap on the water and then tap it and then it comes back. There's no sense of like achievement from that in the same way there is more so with the like 3DS game, for example.
Right, okay, so what was the sense of achievement on that? Because when I played the 3DS version, and I'm not trying to piss you off, I'm like, genuinely, the fishing was... I found it so fucking dull.
Yeah,
where are the big ones? Oh, there's no big ones. I'll wait here until there's a big one. Oh, there's a big one. I'll chuck my fishing rod in. Oh, I've caught it. Like, that was it. There was no, like, proper gameplay in there.
Yeah, there's not. And that's what I'm saying. The fishing is one of the weakest parts of the game. And yet they've taken those parts, which are the weakest parts, and just made it about that. That's all they've done.
I'm not with you. Because, I mean, that's pretty much all I was doing. That and bug catching in fucking Animal Crossing New Leaf.
Yeah, I know, but it's not... as I keep trying to explain about Animal Crossing, the point of the game is not to just, like, try and complete stuff. That's not what you're trying to do. It's like,
I'm not saying that, but you're saying one of the big problems is that there's no sense of achievement from the fishing in Animal Crossing, this mobile game. And, I mean, there was no sense of achievement in Animal Crossing New Leaf fishing.
No, I'm saying that they've taken part of Animal Crossing, like part of the game, which is the least interesting part, which is the stuff where you just have to collect things to give to another animal, and that's it. And that's all they've done. They haven't taken the other parts of the game that are interesting.
For example,
manipulating the landscape. You can't do that in this game.
Right. So you can't, like, dig up... What was it? Digging and stuff? What's it? Like, what could you do to the landscape in a New Leaf?
You could completely customise the entire landscape of the village that you're in. You can totally change it, however you feel. You can't do that in this. But then also, and there's no sense of exploration in this game at all. That's the other thing I just don't like about it.
That's the bit I don't understand, because there's after 20 odd hours of playing that game, I'd been everywhere and seen everything. Huh?
You said 15.
I said 15 to 20.
Yeah.
25 hours, wasn't it?
I mean, go and read my diaries. I think my diaries are still on Spong. It's just the same. It was the same thing over and over again. It wasn't like you could go off and find new places. I was like, that was the thing that shocked me when I first played New Leaf. I was like, hold on, wait, so that's it? These are the areas I get to visit, and that's it.
No, but that's not the point. It's also the fact that you can then manipulate and change those areas to make them what you want them to be. Yeah, but you're saying
this hasn't got a sense of exploration, but I don't think that is a big part of Animal Crossing anyway, is it?
It is. No, it's not finding new areas. It's what's going on in the village on any given day, because that changes.
Right. Okay. How many hours have you put into the mobile game, do you think?
Not enough to really be able to say.
Is there a chance that you haven't put enough hours into it to see the
exploration?
Yeah,
I need to put 300 hours into it, and then I'll be able to decide if it's good or not.
Well, there we go then.
Have you paid £20 yet to Nook?
No, although that money would be well worth it, to have him visiting your village.
You're not tempted.
There you go. Also, it'll work out cheaper than Animal Crossing game, so win-win, innit, James?
Yeah, whatever.
I mean, I'm surprised you've even bothered with this. Like, you knew you were going to hate it.
I know, but I was curious to see what it was like. But to me, it really feels more like Miitomo than like Super Mario Run, if you sort of mean. In the sense of it feels like a cash grab to me, this game. Like, compared with the other ones. Even compared with, like, Fire Emblem.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it didn't feel... I was surprised by how Animal Crossing it felt to me. And that is part of the reason why I was like, no, I'm not... I can't do this. Yeah. But you've not played it at all, Matt?
No, I installed it, but I just saw Pill's tweet saying, I collected this and I just like, oh God, no, I can't. I haven't got enough energy in my life to do another min-max game right now. And it felt like that. From the tweets I saw, there's like threads about tactics and what to buy and when. I was like, oh no, I can't do it.
See, that's what I don't like about that. Because that's what I didn't like about what you were saying, like with Stardew Valley as well. It's the same thing of like having to do those things.
But whereas I said in Stardew Valley, you could just fish and that's it. You don't have to do anything.
Again, your hatred for Stardew Valley is just weird.
Yeah.
And secondly, I visited your town in a New Leaf, and when I walked in, I said, your place is a shithole. And you said, oh, well, no, because I'm selling turnips at the moment, so I'm storing them here, and that's why everything's all over the place.
Yeah, there was a reason for it, because I was like, never mind.
Mate, you're as bad as the character in Beyond Two Souls. Kicking turnips under the TV bench. Because Dr. Dreamboat's coming around, a.k.a. Dave Turner's.
The thing is, it's not about min-maxing, but, it is Tuesday soon, so I need to load up my house.
I spent all money on turnips, but it's not about min-maxing, because I hate that. I hate quest logs.
Yeah. You're all over the place, James. You're all fucking over the place. Go away, come back, think of why you really don't like it, microtransactions, and then you can slag it off.
As I said, it's because the whole thing is designed around just repeating one loop, like, continuously.
Oh
and
my
the other
God,
game is
that
not
is
like
exactly
that.
what Animal Crossing is.
It's not, David. That's not the point. Oh.
Don't raise your voice at me.
For fuck's sake.
Your attitude. Get it in check.
For fuck's sake.
Okay. Matt, you've been playing Wolfenstein. What do you think?
I'm not going to say too much about it because I haven't finished it. I'm probably about halfway, I think. I set it to easy straight away because everyone said the combat was a bit frustrating and it's not on easy, but I could absolutely see how it could be ridiculously frustrating.
I don't like the combat. I started this last night and I'm instantly thinking I'm not getting.
I tell you what's annoying as fuck.
The feeling of shooting anything.
Yeah, aim down sights is pointless because you can't see where you're firing because the guns are so massive. I just think that's really unsatisfying and really rubbish. But, I think the game looks great. I think the cutscenes are really, really well acted. The story is really compelling at the moment. And I can't wait to see what happens really. But I'm glad I've knocked the difficulty down to the absolute bare minimum. Actually, no, I don't think it was the one with the bay. I'm not sure. Maybe it's like second bottom I'm not sure. But either way, it's easy. And
I did the baby one. Also, I saw people on Twitter, obviously, complaining about how that's shaming the player, going, oh, you shouldn't say, oh, I'm a baby. Oh, come on. Like, what is it? It's a funny little joke.
Yeah, I know, but it is shaming, but like, it's a joke. Like, I mean,
yeah.
It's hardly something to get your knickers in a twist about. You can't say that these days, can you? Sorry, I mean.
No.
You know what I mean? But, so far, how far have you played, Dave? Or how long have you played?
Literally the first mission, which I'm assuming is where the free trial cuts off.
Oh yeah, in fact, so I downloaded a free trial. I mean, obviously I heard this game was amazing and I knew to give a Black Friday deals, but downloaded a trial because that's something they released and I thought, hell, why wouldn't I? And obviously you download the entire game for the free trial, and then it ends at a really critical point in that level, and I was like, fuck. And then
so it's not the full level, it's not the full first level.
I mean, I've only played that, so I can't say, but it basically does seem to end in the middle of gameplay.
Do you not get the horrific scene just in the trial?
It is just before that horrific scene sort of plays out.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so it's like, oh my God, what happens? And I had to buy it there and then. So I did. And it was like 2 clicks. And then it's just, because the game's already downloaded, it's literally 2 clicks and the game carried on. It was brilliant. It's like, it's so clever. Anyway.
So I played it with my wife sitting on the sofa. She was reading her phone, and that whole, the big controversial opening bit happened, and I must admit, I just thought, thank God she was she didn't see. Because, oh my God, that is...
Exactly the same with me, actually. Jill was also on the couch, also on her phone, and I really thought that she was a point to go look up, but she didn't.
Yeah.
Which is just
there's one specific bit, isn't
because
it?
I quickly had to put in my bank details and quickly buy it. I was like, if she turns around, I'm fucked. But she didn't turn around, and I bought it, and then she also didn't turn around for the cutscene either.
Well, there's one specific bit in that cutscene where you go, whoa, that's strong. But I didn't mind it. It sounds bad, but I thought it was quite funny. I don't know. How are you supposed to explain that to someone who hasn't played it? Oh, that nasty bit everyone's talking about? Yeah, this is what happens.
Yeah.
You're like, fuck me. That's bad.
It's good though. Like, the cutscenes are really well acted. They are. Really work. It's not like maybe other games where maybe I would take my eye off the screen for a bit or do something else. They're brilliant. They're really compelling. So, I think I'm about halfway-ish. I played about 6 hours and I'm playing on the easiest mode. So, I'm going to get that finished this week, hopefully.
Good, yeah, I know. I'm hoping to get through it pretty quickly. It's shocking to see what's happened to that game. Genuinely shocking. The fact that, it's come out, it's already £20 in most places.
Yeah.
What is it? It's not even been out a month, is it?
It can't be much more than that.
Yeah, it's kind of done a dishonour, doesn't it?
It has dropped in price, and they're giving away the first mission for free to try and get people to buy. You can only assume that either they had this plan in place straight away to try and get as many people playing it as possible, which I don't believe, because it hasn't got a multiplayer or any of that shit, has it?
No.
So once it's bought, they've not got further income from the game. Or it's just selling absolutely appallingly.
It's a shame because critically it did so well, but obviously it's been a busy period for games and whatnot. But yeah, I'm glad I'm playing it. I didn't think I could do a Game of the Year thing without playing that. And there still was some other massive blind spots in my Game of the Year talk, which I'm not even going to get time to do. I really want to play Nier Automata, but I don't think I'm not going to get time for that. But the things people have said, it just sounds, like it does some really crazy things. I'm not going to get time for loads of other games, but I didn't think I could get through without playing this, and I'm glad I have so far.
So what other games? Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I'm just taking a look at the software charts, and it's at number 7. It's gone up since before, so maybe that strategy has worked.
Yeah,
selling it off cheap, because it's gone up from 18th to 7th. So,
well, in a very selfish way, I'm kind of glad, because I don't know if I'd be playing it this week if it was still full price. Put it that way. Which is it's a sad thing to say, but what can you do? What other games are on your list that you intend to play then before the Game of the Year's
right now
chat?
it is Life is Strange episodes. I also need to get to 500 Moons on Mario.
Because that's going to be quite a big part of the discussion, I think.
I want to play more Assassin's Creed because I really enjoy what I've played. But
so for Game of the Year show, Matt.
Yeah, yeah.
You've got to play Edith Finch.
Well, I've just seen my email. James has bought Edith Finch for me, so thank you, James.
I just gifted it to you. Yeah,
thank you,
James. It's really cheap.
I appreciate that.
What the fuck?
It's really cheap. It's not anything, and it's only taken 2 hours to finish.
And also now the fact you can gift games.
Matt spent thousands and thousands of pounds on technology and stuff. He's done fuck all for you. I've brought you into the world of computer game criticism, and you've done you ain't done shit for me. No wonder I slag you off.
Thanks, John. I really appreciate it. How amazing is it? Only now we can finally gift games on Xbox. And you still can't do it on PlayStation. It's ridiculous. But anyway,
yeah, it's a bit weird. I would I mean, I don't think I've got anything left off the list that I want to get done before Game of the Year, apart from Wolfenstein. But I'm playing that at the moment.
I know I've asked you offline, but do we know whether the third episode of Life is Strange will be out by the time we do our Game of the Year episode?
I was under the impression, and I don't know where I've got this information from, but I was under the impression that it would be out in December. I could be wrong. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, if it's not, then it's going to be difficult to place it. And obviously, I don't know what the last episode's going to be like. It could just all fall to pieces. But I mean, if it's anything like the first two, then this is well in contention, I think. How about you, James? Have you got anything on your list that you need to get through?
I don't think so, because I'm kind of free now, which is nice. I can't think of anything that I really, really need to play.
Yeah, I mean, Future Unfolding. You need to play that.
Yeah, but I don't want to play that on the computer.
So get it on PlayStation. It's on PS4.
Yeah, but it costs loads of money. That's why I don't want to get it. And I just bought Matt Edith Finch, so...
That would have got you Future Unfolding.
Yeah.
It's not like a £30 game.
It is. It's not... They never discount it, though, do they, either?
It wasn't it in discount? Well, I don't know if it was just PC only, but... Oh, mate, you got to play that game. It's fucking fantastic.
Dave, you should play Rime before...
That was the one that I had in the back of my head. Yeah, I need to play that, but that's 30 quid.
Not if you buy it on PlayStation. You can buy it on that for like about 15 quid, I think. If you buy a
No, it was 30 quid when I looked on PlayStation.
Also, Night in the Woods
if you buy
is
a disc
fantastic.
version.
Oh, right. Oh, you bought it. Oh, is that they had a physical release, did they?
There's a physical release, yeah. The physical one from Amazon's not that expensive.
I'll think about it. James, just buy it for me. No, see? Unbelievable. Okay, is that it? Have we covered everything now?
I've also played Dark Souls, but that's that.
How are you getting on with that?
First stream, really good. Second stream, disaster.
I watched a bit of it. It wasn't a disaster.
Okay, I will say, I managed to get past Taurus Demon, and that was always my goal for episode 2. I did that relatively quickly on my third go. So yeah, amazing. I've got to a point after an hour and a half, which took me about 10 plus hours first time round. So yeah, brilliant. But after that, it just went horribly wrong. Mostly because of my inability to grasp the controls. I'm still
that'll come though. It's such a unique way to play a game. Like it's totally different to any sort of third person action game. It does take a while to get to grips with the controls, but you'll get there. Like it's something you learn as you play. There are still like mechanics that I had to force myself to learn, like the parry system. I was watching you play Undead Berg last night, and I was like, fuck, I'd be parrying these motherfuckers, they'd be dead in seconds. But obviously, like, when I think back to my playthrough, I didn't start learning that until Anor Londo, James, which, as you know, is like just about to enter the final chapter of the game, really, like the final third of the game. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, because I see this game in like 3 acts, and Anor Londo signifies the end of the second act. And it wasn't until then where I was like, oh, right, okay, I need to learn how to parry now. And then that really helped me towards the end.
I've only really started barely getting to grips with a backstab.
Yeah, I can tell you exactly where you're going wrong with that.
I wasn't dropping the sword, the shield, was I?
The shield, no, but what it is that when you first play the game, you're so worried that anything can kill you really quickly, which it can do. But the enemies you're fighting at the moment are quite slow. So what you're doing is it's like a natural instinct thing of fucking hold the shield up. Fucking hold that shield up. But you don't need to do that. Like, I mean, I'm not saying you're playing it wrong, because that's how I played it when I went through that area. You're doing nothing different to how I was going through it. And I'm sure with James as well. I was constantly hiding behind my shield. Once you get the confidence up, then you'll realise, oh, actually, I can drop the shield. I don't have to have it up. And in fact, actually, it's beneficial to drop the shield because you regain your stamina a lot quicker. And B, if one of the things that was, the bits where you were dancing around the enemies for ages, and you're waiting for them to attack so you can attack. You do know a quick way of doing that is dropping your shield. You've got more than enough time to pull your shield back up to defend it. Yeah, but if you drop your shield, the enemies see that you've dropped your shield and they go to attack you.
Oh, okay, that's a lot quicker.
it's a good.
I mean, what
good
everyone
tip
in
to
the
sort of bait
stream was
them into
shouting at
attacking
me to do was to kick enemies, and then they told me once how to do it, and I might have done it once, and then I kept forgetting. And then they could see I was trying to do something, and they're like in the chat, like, "Is he trying to kick?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm trying to kick." And they're like, "Oh, it's forward and X." You know,
No, it's forward and B.
yeah,
is
I
what
know,
they were saying.
but they were saying that, and I fell for it again, and I once again I drunk another fucking Estus. I mean, I was saying to James before this started, like, there's a bit in Undead Burg where I got rid of most of the health of an enemy. That enemy started drinking an Estus flask. I thought I'd go attack him, and I also started drinking an Estus flask. It was like,
yeah, which was empty. And so it was totally pointless doing it anyway, and he just got stabbed straight away.
I was doing okay-ish, and then I just kept drinking. I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm stopping the game. So, but I mean, I've got to the boar, and I guess I'm reasonably pleased I've got this far, considering what I did in my first playthrough last year. But yeah, it was a lot more stressful this time.
People in the chats, man, as well, they are fucking being harsh. There's no doubt about that.
I do. I mean, I keep forgetting that I am allowed to look at guides and watch stuff because everyone's saying, make sure this is in your offhand or this hand and I was getting like 65 people just shouting at me saying, do this, do that. And then I was maybe trying to ignore them for a bit, and then people saying, why are you ignoring the comments? Oh, it's so stressful. But I did Taurus Demon, and that was always my goal for episode 2, and I did that, so.
Yeah, well then, well done. That's good. Yeah. You made your goal. That's all you got to worry about.
Sunday, 9 o'clock, every Sunday for 9 more Dark Souls. Join me, please, and help. I need help.
Sunday at 9. Yeah. Sunday at 9.
Every Sunday at 9, twitch.tv/The Computer Game Show.
Cool. Right. Should we get on to emails and ting?
Let's.
Yeah, we've got some emails. First of all, if you want to email us, it's thecomputergameshow@gmail.com. First one's from Adam Turner. He says, hi all, sorry my second email this week, a little lighter than the first. As a creative designer, I can't help noticing posters and artwork in game environments. As part of my profession, I struggle to turn this off in my head. This is a question for David. Being an architect as your profession, do you notice architecture in games? Is there any games you would rate highly for its architecture? If you're not an architect, then my apologies, and this question is useless.
I am an architect, but no. To that. I think it's because it was a profession I fell into rather than had a passion for a long time and worked to try and get in the industry. I sort of just fell into it. So, yeah, I haven't really picked up on that sort of stuff. And not only that, as I said before in the past, when you're an architect, people think that you're working on huge buildings, and I'm just working. I'm working on retail and warehouses and stuff. It's not glamorous work, but I don't know. I enjoy my job. I just don't wrap myself up in it when I'm playing a computer game, I guess.
Okay, the next one is from...
The end.
Yeah. The next one's from James. He says, hi chaps, top show as always last week, even with the absent main one.
There we go.
Unexpected niceness from the wife has left me in somewhat of a first world predicament. My Christmas bonus is due in a couple of weeks, and I've been given the nod to spend some of it on myself. Herein lies the problem. Do I get an Xbox One S, or put it towards a PS4 VR in the new year? I already have a Switch and a PS4, but the X1 X hype is really making me want to jump back into the Xbox scene. I love my 360. Look forward to your reply. Keep up the good work.
So what's the choice?
It's either an Xbox One S or a PS4 VR.
Has to be the S.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, because there are games like Crackdown, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay coming out on the S, which he hasn't got an Xbox company to play them on. PSVR, I mean, I love my PSVR, and there's loads of great stuff on it, but me personally, I would want all the consoles. And the good thing about the X is that all those games will also be out on the S. The S is a lot quicker, I believe, than the original Xbox One. So, me personally, I reckon go for the S. And there's games
also,
on there.
That's fair.
If he's already got if he's had a 360 before, he'll probably have a ton of games as well that are already like backwards compatible and stuff.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
I love my PSVR. Yeah. And there were some amazing bundles, like £250 for like that and Skyrim, the headset Skyrim, and the PlayStation, the demo disc that came with it. So some really great bundles, but I would go for the S.
Yeah, fair point. Also, why did you go what at the start there, Matt?
Because you said about the absence of the main one.
Again, I don't know why you're pushing it. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Go on.
Okay, so now we've got some tweets. If you want to tweet us, it's at ComputerGamePod on Twitter. The first one's from Athene, who says, As Matt Murray's right-hand woman on the Dark Souls streams, when am I going to see any of the Twitch money?
Never, baby.
Can I just say...
Go on.
Athene, you are horrendous on that chat. Just constantly, what the fuck are you doing? This is painful. I'm like, whoa, chill out. Chill out. She really guns for you on that.
I mean, to be fair, she wasn't the only one. I got tweets today saying, at times I wanted to throttle you, other times give you a hug. So, and he said, I think it's fair to say that watching the stream today was even more infuriating than the first one. So, fans. So yeah, she wasn't the only one, and she did give me some good advice. I think 80% of the people watching and giving me comments were trying to get me to do ridiculous things, to get me killed, etc.
I mean, I cannot believe you fell for the forward and B thing. For those of you that don't know, on Dark Calls, there was a sort of bit of a meme, I guess you kids would call it, where I told James that all he has to do to kick is press forward and B, and he tried for several weeks to try and kick, and he wasn't able to do it until he worked out that it was actually forward and RB, not forward and B. And yeah, I took a bit of a beating from James for that. Fair enough. But Matt has fallen for that about 4 times.
It was stressful. There's loads of people shouting. I was struggling. I was streaming. It was different.
And you listened to Dark Calls.
Well, no. Well, look, I
don't know.
I fucked it. This time next week, okay, for week 1, I struggled with the menus. This week, I nailed the menus, apart from when I was trying to work out the description of an item and the menus went poorly. They were poorly worded. Menus mostly down.
As for Twitch Money, Athene, we haven't seen it yet. I don't know what Matt's playing at. He was going end of November. Well, it's the end of November, Matt. And I'm still out of pocket.
Well, email Mr. Twitch at twitch.com.
What happens then? How does it work? What, you just, say, pay the money in? Well,
yeah,
haven't you got to activate it or something?
All that's sorted. It would just say we get paid 60 days after the end of the month where we earn a certain amount. It's all good. I'm expecting it in the next week or so.
Right, okay, good. We'll review this next week, won't we, James?
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, whatever.
No, go on.
No, well, there'll be an email in the inbox to say you've had a payment, so don't worry about it. It's not like I can hide it.
Unless you get to that email first.
Ooh, yeah, exactly. Unless he's already set up an auto-delete.
Thank you for the money, everyone. Just bought a new gold watch.
The only way we know that we'll get an email saying there's been a payment is by you saying it. You know what I mean? What if you turn that notification off?
What, off your phone?
Off the fucking inbox, you dickhead.
That doesn't make sense.
No, it makes sense. Of the computer game show inbox.
Yeah.
What if you turn the notification off on Twitch, so that we don't receive that email?
I don't think I've got the power to do it. Next question. You're an idiot. Next question.
Rakaku Police says, if you had to recommend a game for Robert Mugabe, what would you recommend and why?
Right. James, explain to me why... Right. Here's what I know about Robert Mugabe.
Rob. Just call him Rob.
Well, here's what I know about old Robbie. He's a bad person, and he's no longer in power. That's it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Right, but why is he a bad person? What's he been up to? What's old Rob been up to?
Well, he's mostly just run Zimbabwe's economy into the ground, jail political opponents, that kind of thing. Because the feeling I get about all the chat about him, was he like a murderer and that? Well, some of the rules and sort of laws. Well, no, some of the rules and laws that he put forward ended up with people going to prison, that kind of thing. So he's your common garden dictator, pretty much.
But he is a dictator, is he?
Pretty much, yeah.
What do you mean, pretty much?
Well, no,
what sort of? I'm not digging you out, James. I'm asking you, because you know about this stuff and I don't. I'm asking for help.
No, because the thing is, there is technically it's technically like a democratic country where there are elections, but then the elections are rigged, so it's not, if you see what I mean.
Right. I'm with you. I don't want him... We've got enough dickheads playing computer games. Do we need any more?
No, but I would recommend Tropico 5, because...
yeah, but that's the obvious answer, isn't it? I mean, it's all there. Tropico. Next question.
Okay. Andre Gershwind.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. What are your opinions on the Pokemon games, and are any of you planning to pick up the Switch installment? No.
Have any of us got into Pokemon?
I've never played one.
I've tried on numerous occasions, but I just can't do it. It's boring. Sorry.
What sort of games are they?
Well, it's my first RPG. I'm going to get a lot of hate. I don't know. I don't like them very much.
Yeah, it's turn-based, like, select what attack you want.
No,
and then see what happens.
Pokemon, I think I was like 2 years too old, because no one I knew at school was doing that, but maybe a couple of years below it was massive, and so I feel like I've totally missed Pokemon.
I remember when the first game came out and I played it, I kind of got into it a little bit, but I've never liked that style of combat. Never liked it. You know, Final Fantasy VII, my mate was banging on about it and I tried it and I couldn't get into it because of that. And yeah, so it never really clicked with me, but I can totally see why people like it. Also, I can't hear Pokemon now without hearing Pokemon go to the polls. Like that is, you know how certain sound clips get stuck in your head and will never be removed? That's one of them. Old, what's her face? Clinton saying that.
Yeah.
Don't you remember that?
Yeah.
It was one of the most cringeworthy things I've ever seen in my life. You watching it last night?
No, I wasn't watching it. I said...
You said I was watching that last night.
I watched it this morning. Pokemon, no, it's a big no. I mean, have they confirmed there is going to be a Switch version?
Yeah.
Well, that's going to be massive, isn't it? That's going to blow up, I imagine.
It is. Fair play to those Pokemon guys.
Yeah,
they love all that, don't they?
Congratulations.
Have agreed.
I'm sure it's fine. It's just, I don't care.
No, it's a shame, really, isn't it? We haven't really got anyone that's into it, and it is such a big thing. So
we're short into that.
I imagine he would have and Pikachu.
No, I don't think you're right. It sounds like you're dissing it, but I mean, whatever.
No,
if you like it.
It sounds like it's the sort of thing I'd imagine he would have been into for some reason.
Oh, steady.
I can't remember. I know Owen was big time into that.
Yeah, I was always a bit jealous of like listening to Owen's. I was like, oh, I wish this is so passing me by. I still see all like Pokemon cards in like toy shops. I'm like, what even is this? And I spent 50 quid on the cards. I mean, I still couldn't work it out.
Next question.
That's it. We're done.
Hey, look at that. A show done, and one in a reasonable amount of time too. Matt, do you want to tell people to go places and do stuff with their time?
Yeah, just follow us on Twitter. We're at Computer Game Pod on Twitter. We'd love to hear your feedback and comments on there. It's awesome as ever. Anything you want to say, good or bad, just let us know. Obviously, Twitch, I'm streaming on Sunday nights from 9, every Sunday night from 9. Go over to Twitch, search the Computer Game Show, or just go to twitch.tv/the Computer Game Show. The highlights of James's Beyond streams are on our YouTube channel. Just search us on there. And there's also a link to our Discord, which is pinned to the top of our Twitter account. Go over there. Loads of people arguing, mostly slagging me off, but apart from that, it's a good old community over.
What happened? Didn't something happen in there last night? Because I saw a lot of people...
Basically, there was some massive debate about it following on from the Dark Souls thing, and some people got heated because there were people saying you shouldn't be like telling him what to do so much because, you know, he's only like learning himself, and other people are like, no, he needs to Kindle, and everyone's like, right, okay, Kindle in Dark Souls, loads of people obsessed of like, just Kindle, you idiot, just Kindle. What, should I Kindle? What? Oh.
Right, so Kindling is can be explained pretty easily. You can spend 2 humanities. Is it humanities? Is that what it's called?
Yeah. Humanity, yeah.
Right. You can spend 2 of those items to turn your bonfire so that it fills up your Estus flask for 10 heals rather than 5.
Right.
The main problem with doing that is that you only really want to do that for bonfires that you're going to visit regularly. So you have to have a good understanding of which ones are going to benefit kindling.
Right.
I went through the entire game with only doing 1 bonfire because I didn't find out about kindling till way late into the game. So yeah, I did 1 bonfire in Analondo, and that was it. So it's not essential, but I mean, it will help you.
So if I kindle a bonfire, every time I die and go back to that one, I'll have 10 every time. Is that how it works?
Yeah,
okay.
10. And I think you can up it to like 15 and 20 as well. Like if you keep kindling it, I think. I can't remember. Memory's hazy.
Maybe I'll do it, but there's a massive divide in the Twitch chat, because some people were up for it, other people said no, did not do that. Anyway, Dark Souls.
I wouldn't say there's any.
There's
no disadvantage of not, like. I mean, yeah. I mean, I wish I knew about it earlier, but yeah, whatever. Yeah. Whatever. It's a good game. Keep playing. And, thanks for living it, is all I've got to say. We'll catch you next week. Send all your tweets and emails in and, we'll respond. There'll be a guest next week. But until then, enjoy silence. Goodbye.
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 Goodbye.